Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 9 of Eye on the Ball. Um, a lot has happened. A lot has happened actually, especially regarding one of my teams that I will get to in a second here. But episode 9 of Eye on the Ball, crazy as hell coming this far, almost at 10, and that's almost 2 months of episodes. That's fire to be honest. But yeah, we're gonna keep that up, of course. So since the last episode, it's been what? I think there was a game right after the episode was uploaded. Hopefully we can get this episode uploaded before the next game, which is tomorrow. Today's Sunday. Happy Father's Day to any father watching. Um, but yeah, a lot has happened today actually, and since the other games, two games actually went by. Of the finals. So it's game three and game four. So let's get right into that. Game three, Pacers came out and beat the hell out OKC. I mean, that was like a very convincing W, to say the least. I mean, it was a TJ McConnell game, an Obi Toppin game. They went fucking insane. Benedict Mathurin also went fucking ludicrous. Let's see how many points he had. Let me see the stats. I got him on the NBA website this time. I usually use like StatMuse or Basketball Reference, but I'm using NBA.com this time. Let's see how it goes. But um, game three, Benedict Mathurin, ex Benedict, had 27 points, 9 of 12 shooting, 2 of 3 from three, and was 7 of 8 from free throws. Foreshadowing for the next game after. But no, he played his fucking ass off. He was incredible that game. I think what makes Benedict so I think in my opinion important for the Pacers is that when you have an offense that kind of just like um depends on everybody's ability to kind of stay on the same kind of cognitive mindset. Oops, sorry. Um, to all be connected together, like not being selfish and passing the ball, willing to be um, selfless with the ball in hands, is that sometimes I don't want to say it's kind of like a on the fly kind of decision making, because it really isn't with the Pacers. Like that's the main difference between like their offensive style and like for example with my team with the Grizzlies that we tried to implement. It was like ours was just like kind of just like spontaneous, kind of like if you saw a guy open, straight pass to him because everybody was just running around in that wheel. But the Pacers, like everything is kind of on purpose and voluntary, with the way that they scramble, they set the flare screens or zoom screens, anything like that. So, but again, like with that, it's kind of like sometimes it just won't work depending on like how great the defense is that day. But against I mean, so it obviously still can work really well against good defenses because we've seen it with OKC. It still works really well. But with having Mather on the team is like it's this guy who has confidence in himself, can create shots for himself. And I don't want to say a three-level scorer, but he's kind of that shot creator where he can get to his spots, get in his bag, use his toughness, his 3-point shooting, just like use all the abilities that he has to score at will instead of just like having to be like that part of the system kind of player. Like he kind of stands out from that, which makes him like kind of like super interesting. Um, and kind of like it goes against the system, but he still works well within it too. So his performance was crazy that game. TJ McConnell, I think I said it right. Hopefully, TJ was fucking great that game. I mean, what he had 5 steals on OKC, like a team that barely turns the ball over. And 2 or 3 of them was like just like straight inbound steals. I think from like either Caruso threw bad passes or it was like J Dub or SGA just throwing bad passes, and McConnell was like right there. One of them, if I remember correctly, I think one of them was like on a run that OKC had in the fourth or maybe the third. Excuse me, where it was kind of looking like a little bit dicey for for the Pacers, but he was able to get the inbound or the inbound steal, score like and then keep their lead. And there was another time actually where I think OKC was up by 4 points. TJ McConnell scored, and then he got the inbound pass and then was able to score again. So they basically just tied up the game in like less than like 30 seconds or fucking 10 seconds really. So I mean, he's just a hustle player. He's a fucking animal. Every time that I see him on the court, it reminds me of that Josh Hart clip. I don't know if I've said that before. I might have, kind of having deja vu right now, but I could be bugging. But where he's like, you if you find him, you can't stop. Like you gotta kill him. You gotta kill him. Which is crazy to say, but that's what he said. But and Siakam had 21 points. Didn't shoot the best from three, but he's more of a mismatch demon, which is something I've realized. And again, foreshadowing for Game 4. He was 8 for 14. He played great as always. Again, one of their most consistent scorers. And Halliburton also had 22 points. Something he did really well was, and that you want him to do, is he was really aggressive, like straight from the get go. And you want your point guard to do that. I understand that he could be that Steve Nash kind of archetype where it's kind of like he doesn't have to always score, but it's the playoffs. The game's about a bucket. Also foreshadowing about the other point guard in the next game that I'll talk about too. But Tyrese Halliburton played amazing, 4 from 8 for three, and that's what you want him to do. You want him to shoot well because when the Pacers shoot well is when they're an unstoppable team, and the reason why is because it's less about their scrambling and trying to use their pace and their aggressiveness. I have my glasses on. I just fucking realized that. Well, whatever. Now you guys see me with fucking glasses on. I didn't even fucking realize I had them on. Whatever. But yeah, so they use their aggressiveness a lot to, score at the rim at will, because of just how fast they are, how much they scramble the defense and stuff like that. But being able to shoot as well opens up that paint more for them. So it's less about it's basically the spacing, kind of. It's literally just spacing wise. You are efficient from three. It's gonna be great. It's gonna make it easier to score at will in the paint, especially against a team like fucking that has Shet guarding the at the 5 and other amazing defenders as well. Like, But yeah, that was a pretty convincing dub from the Pacers that game. Let me see the stats for OKC. Honestly, not really noticeable performance from anybody. J-Dub had a decent game, 9 for 18. He was a -9 box scored. Not that that really matters, but it was kind of a situation where he wasn't really playing the best too. Like, the stats may show that he was okay scoring, but it wasn't really something too notable. Lou Dort had a great shooting night that game. He was 4 for 5 from three, which is what you want from Lou Dort because they tend to keep Lou Dort open. I mean, really any OKC player because they've been daring him to shoot the entire series. But Lou Dort is one of their better shooters, other than Mr. Caruso himself, which again, I don't know how many times I have to say it, but Caruso has legitimately been one of their best players this entire playoff run. And I'm not saying he's better than J-Dub. I'm not saying he's better than Shet. But in terms of impact, consistency, what he provides for the team in terms of just trying to guard the best man at all times and actually hindering them at all times. I mean, Caruso has been that fucking guy. If you want to talk about a playoff performer, he's a fucking playoff performer. He's a fucking playoff riser. That guy's a fucking lunatic. And it's crazy that they really got this man after trading away their worst fucking player. I don't understand. Again, Bulls GM, what the fuck? They literally gave this dude away for Josh Giddey, who, again, like might be decent for the franchise, but he's not doing what Caruso is doing at all. At the time it was a win-win trade for both teams. I would have said at the time, because of the fact that Caruso, we knew what Caruso was going to provide, But now this motherfucker is providing double that. Like, we didn't think he was gonna be an offensive guy, but he is. Like, he's providing on both sides, and it's fucking crazy that he's doing this. Because again, like, it's ludicrous. Honestly, I cannot believe that has been consistently great over every stretch of the playoffs. Right, but yeah, Shai had 24 points, 9 for 20. Um, his he really did not have a good game. Um, it's so one thing I think in the commentators were talking about it, and they mentioned that Mark, I don't know how to say his last name, but the OKC coach, call him Dino Nugget. No disrespect. It's just, you know, maybe it's not funny. Maybe to me it kind of makes me giggle a little bit. Dino Nugget is kind of funny. Mark Dino Nugget. Anyways. But he was saying that he wants to keep Shai's minutes low, or at least try to rest him for a good amount of time, because he has this, like, for the playoffs. You need energy, whatever. But it's interesting because that was never said before. I don't believe any time by Mark, or insisted upon in terms of Shai. Like, we knew his minutes are usually, like, for the first quarter he'll play a bunch. In the regular season, like, he didn't play in the fourth for some quarters just because, like, he just didn't need to, because OKC was just whipping ass. But there's also, like, I don't know the minutes rotation for OKC in general, but I'm pretty sure it's like this thing where Shai would, like, either play the full first quarter, and then, like, a half of second, something. I don't know what it is exactly, but, like, there's, like, a minute rotation with him where it's kind of weird, right? But all that to say is this motherfucker has been tired as shit getting guarded by Nemhard. Nemhard is literally strapped to his fucking waist every single game, from the other one side of the court to the other side. Nemhard is always there, and Nemhard does a really good job at defending him. And foreshadowing again for the next game, they make adjustments next game, right? So yeah, let's go into the next game where OKC won in a very, very, very clutch performance by Shai. Now, I am not going to act like officiating did not matter this game. I very much believe that officiating was fucking horrible this game, and I can rant about officiating for a very long time. I do not want to make this about officiating only, but Jesus fucking Christ, was it bad. It was fucking terrible. In the first quarter, I think it was timid. The second quarter, Scott Foster hand delivered the OKC 7 fucking points in 2 minutes. It was a 7-0 run off straight free throws. What the fuck? And some of the fouls were just like minimal shit. It's like, what are you calling? Why are you calling this? They've been physical all series, and now you want to call basic shit, right? It was just terrible officiating. It was really, really bad. It was not fun. I think it was like, some people are gonna say that some people are gonna bring up the inconsistencies, like, regardless, like, how Pacers have been fouling, say, the entire series anyways. Like, he should be averaging this amount of free throws, right? And then people on the Pacers are gonna say, like, Shai has been pushing off, and OKC defenders do that all the time. So why the fuck why is it a problem now? And I think both sides are fair in that way, and that's why, like, the first 3 games, I would say, they've been officiated kind of well. It's like, it's less about, it's more consistency between one to 3, those 3 games, where fouls were not directly controlling the atmosphere, I guess, of the game, or outcome of the game. It was more so like, like, if that was too crazy, then it's a fucking foul. That also, I remember, and no, let me talk about it first. Let me continue talking about it first. But yeah, officiating was fucking horrible this game. Fucking disgusting. I do not. I think this was like one of the longest playoffs ever, like in NBA history, in terms of like how long the actual game went. And again, it's because of playoffs. I think they had about like 70 free throws combined, and it's like, as a fan of the sport, it's annoying. Nobody wants to hear a whistle go off that many times, especially in a playoff situation where teams have obviously been very physical the entire series. So it's kind of like, it's just not fun. And then to make it worse, it's kind of like super lopsided. You know, I was usually when it comes down to these type of games where it's like officiating, where officiating is gonna be kind of bad and kind of lopsided. Like we knew, or at least I knew, and probably other people too, whatever, right? That the whistle was kind of an OKC's favor in that second quarter, I would say. But then it kind of flipped to the Pacers in that third quarter a little bit, and then it flipped again to the OKC a little bit as well. But it was kind of like in the fourth quarter, it was kind of like jumping between both, like oscillating between both, and it was like not fun. And what made it worse to me was that it was like, I don't want to say the game was decided on free throws because it was not, or officiating in general because it was not. Like the referee throwing, their hands up and calling fouls is not the reason why. Okay, the Pacers missed 4 shots in a row, turned the ball over. It's just not. But OKC was not really effective in that fourth quarter, anyways. Other than Shai, I think Shai scored like 15 points in those 4 or 5 minutes, and like I think it was like he only made like 2 shots or maybe 3 shots out of those like 2 or 3 were actually like of the shot attempts. Or no, I don't know how the fuck to say it, but he scored like 15, right? I think he had 8 points, or I guess 9 came from free throws, or maybe no. Fuck, I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say. But basically, um, in terms of the actual shot making, he made like 3 very clutch buckets. I think it was the step back three, and then he also made the step back three, which was fucking huge. Like when he made that three, it reminded like literal flashbacks to the three that he made last year against the Mavericks, and I think the closeout game where the Mavericks won the series, that completely shut the crowd up. Because that step back three, if it didn't, I don't know if it tied the game, or I think it kind of just shrunk the lead down to 1. But that was like, it completely reminded me of that, because it was just like a holy shit. Not only are the Pacers sucking right now, but he's like single handedly willing the team back, to excuse me, fuck, to tying the game up, and that's exactly what it reminded me of. Yeah, but Shai, and even then too, it was like Shai, like so Shai had 35 points, 12 of 24, um, 0 assist, and y'all want to call him a great playmaker. He's that boy's a shooting guard at heart. That is true shooting guard shit. That is fuck it, give me the ball. I'm about to put these niggas in a fucking spin cycle, and that's exactly what he did, right? But in terms of his offense, like 1 to 3, the first to third quarters, like it really was like just him making mid range shots. Nothing too impactful for the game in terms of just like, you know shrinking the lead down to make it very close before like the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, or last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. Um, but like he really was not having a great game until those last 4 or 5 minutes. But again, like he did superstar shit. Like that guy's a superstar, and he did what he had to do to win them that game. And again, even in this game, he looked every every other possession, he was just laboring like a motherfucker. Slow to get back on defense. And this series just kind of exposing his defense. He damn near looking like Luka against the Celtics last year. And this is kind of like, this is not the same SGA that we've seen in terms of like, because at least On the defensive side, like he's not one of the better OKC defenders, but at least you can't target him, right? But they were targeting him, especially in that like the first few quarters, first 2 quarters, even first 3 quarters. Pascal Siakam was just mismatch after mismatch and just dogging him. Um, but yeah, it's just crazy game in terms of like ending. I knew it was going to turn into like a officiating battle once both teams got into their bonus with like 6 minutes left or maybe 7 minutes left. That's when I knew it was gonna be like this game is gonna be decided by this bad officiating, not free throws specifically, but just bad officiating. Um, but yeah, so I knew that was gonna happen. And then again, even then, it was like the Pacers had their opportunity to tie this game up or keep them winning the game. If they had won that game, I think the series would have been over. Right? Like again, if there's any team like that can make a 3-1 comeback in this season, right, would be OKC. Like they could. Would they have? Probably not. Just because, like, especially because how they look like that game, like they look bad. Like again, the numbers say like that they played good. J-Dub had 27 points, 8 for 18, but he was 0 for 3 from 3. A lot of his points came from free throws too. That motherfucker barely gets free throws. He had 11 free throws. You know what I mean? He had 4 turnovers too. You know? Chet, I think, played a lot better this game. He was 4 for 9, had 14 points, 15 rebounds, which is beautiful. Again, he's gonna develop into a fucking crazy player the more years, more weight he puts on. But like one thing he did really, really, really fucking well were those last 4 minutes where the Pacers could have made their shots to go in. He defended those players beautifully. And it was very interesting because OKC kind of went away from their usual kind of like packed zone. Sorry, their packed zone defense, and they actually let Chet like take the switch and play the player in front of him. And it's super interesting because again, the Pacers players whom Chet was guarding, like it wasn't like they weren't making space on Chet. They were. Andrew Nembhard had like a step back shot on Chet that easily could have went in because he had a whole ton of space. It just rimmed out. Unfortunately, didn't make it. Tyrese Halliburton had a 3 on Chet Holmgren. Did not go in. But fuck. That 3 from Halliburton hit the backboard and went straight to Pascal Siakam, who had the ball in his hand. The game score at that moment was 105 OKC, 103 Pacers. It was like a minute left, I think. Like a minute to 2 minutes left. I think it was a minute left because I rewatched the clip and I was like, no fucking way, right? But anyways, Siakam had the ball in his hands and kind of like threw it out of bounds. And again, he had the putback opportunity too, because I think the defender who was on Siakam at the time was behind him. So he had like 3-4 inches on the defender behind him. So he easily could have put it up, could have tied the game up. And I think if that had happened, they win that game. Because it's like, again, OKC was not playing the best regardless. Yes, Shai was fucking doing superstar shit, putting the team on his back. For sure. But I don't think they win that game if Siakam makes that putback. Because again, it's like, fuck, we're doing everything we can. And they can somehow convert a missed 3 into a point still. Into a bucket still. Fuck. Like that's like a soul crushing moment. If they put that back up. But they don't. And then what happens after? I think right after is when they get the that little push off. But I want to talk about one thing, and I don't know if this was purposeful. Oh, again, before I talk of that, holy fucking shit! Again, Alex Caruso had 20 fucking points. 20 fucking points. That dude was their third leading scorer. Again, Caruso. We don't expect this motherfucker to do anything on the other side of the ball. But he's doing things that are fucking insane. Again, Alex Caruso, if OKC wins the series, Shai probably will get finals MVP. But realistically, bruh, if it's not for Caruso, they are not doing the things they are doing. Caruso has been one of their most consistent fucking players since the beginning of the playoffs. I understand the motherfucker be fouling like crazy, but at least he knows that his method of fouling players is like, I'm gonna keep fouling until they call it. You can't fucking blame me. Blame the fucking refs, boy. And that's exactly how he plays. Like, sometimes he fouls out. I think he fouled out in one of the games against the Nuggets. I could be wrong about that. I think in game 6 against the Nuggets he fouled out. I could be wrong. But it's like, I'm gonna keep doing it until they call it. On the defensive end, right? But then again, like, he's just providing so much on the offensive end for them. And it's just like, fuck. Caruso had 5 steals in that game too. Like, what more do you want from him, man? You don't need more. Cause he's fucking disgusting, right? But yeah. Anyways, one thing that I don't know if it was voluntary or not, and I would love to know, but in that last minute to 2 minutes, Shai wanted the switch on Nesmith, right? Now, I think entering either the fourth quarter or the second half, Nesmith had like 3 fouls or maybe 4 fouls. I don't remember exactly. I don't know if he entered the second half with 3 fouls and then entered the fourth for 4 fouls, or if he had 4 fouls like since the second half. I don't really fucking remember, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, Shai wanted to switch on Nesmith. He was tired of getting bullied by fucking Nemhard, right? But the switch looked voluntary as shit since the first switch in those last few minutes. And the first thing he did when Nesmith was on him, again, this dude Shai was at the fucking free throw line. He knew he was gonna get the call because he was already fucking there. He's at the free throw line, had the ball in his hand. Nesmith has his fucking hand on Shai's shoulder again. And then, Shai goes up for the grift, gets the foul called. Again, it is a foul. It's a very soft foul, but it is a foul. So then Nesmith ends up with 5 fouls at that time. Or maybe that's a 6th foul. I don't remember exactly. But he gets the foul called on Nesmith. And the dude, and again, it's like, it's such a soft call, because it's like, there's no way you're calling that, and then there's no way Shai is doing that too. Again, we know at the end of the day, we know what Shai is when it comes to his free throw shit. We know he does it on purpose, right? I think it's fair to say that. We knew what he was doing. I can't believe he did it, but the nigga wants to fucking win. I get it. I'm gonna hate on it, and I'm gonna say some bad things about it on Twitter, but I get it, right? I get it. But regardless, I don't understand why the fuck you have your hand on this motherfucker's shoulder who you know is gonna do the grifting. What the fuck? Like, you're just asking to get the foul called. And I guess like he thought like they weren't gonna call it, but like, officiating has been fucking dog shit this entire game. Like, I don't understand why you put yourself in that position anyways to get the foul call, right? But he did. And so I think the problem was, and again, the reason why I'm saying it's voluntary is because I don't know if that was the one that led to the 6th foul where Nesmith fouled out, or the 5th foul, one of those two. But he kept on asking or getting those switches on Nesmith, and he kept on playing super physical on him so that Nesmith can play physical on him, and then Shai could grift for the foul. Again, the reason I say it's voluntary was because I almost kind of think that because we know Neesmith compared to Nemhard in terms of defenders, how they are. Nemhard is a lot more concise, a lot more controlled with his, like, you can kind of say, like, hand checking and stuff like that, right? And you can say it's a foul regardless, sure, right? But again, should it really be called a foul because of the playoffs? Blah blah blah, and then it's a whole other topic of conversations, right? But Nemhard is a lot more controlled compared to Neesmith. Neesmith is kind of like Lou Dort in a way, where it's like it's just a lot of effort, a lot of lateral quickness, a lot of not agility, but more so just like being able to put your all into the steps and trying to be explosive to either get across screens or whatever, right? But Nemhard is not like that. It's much more controlled, much more smooth. I don't want to say a smarter defender, but I guess you can kind of say it because I don't think Nemhard would have had his shoulder on Shai like that. But I think Shai understood that. I think he understood that they were in the bonus, right? But like he understood Neesmith is a very physical defender that he can take advantage of. Pause. 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 And that Shai, that they were in the bonus, and that he was very close to fouling out. I think those three things he took into account, and he did that. Again, I want to say it's voluntary because it's almost like, again, like he was chasing that switch. And I'm saying it's voluntary because I really wonder if that was like the plan going in mind. Like, we're gonna get the switch onto Neesmith if the game is close, because we can take advantage of the fact that Neesmith is gonna be very physical with us, right? Again, I don't know if it was voluntary, but it seemed like it was, and it was fucking crazy if so. Because I think, again, Neesmith fouling out was great for OKC. Because again, if you had Neesmith out there taking that three that Halliburton had shot, or Miles Turner had shot, that could have went in and said, because we know how Neesmith can go on a fucking burner out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Because if the three that Hallie took, I think that was for like lead if he made that shot, and then the one for Turner if he made that three, that could have been for tie, or it could have been for lead too. Maybe the other way around. I don't remember exactly. But again, like you make the other dude foul out, who's a fucking god from three, and like you have a lot more to work with, right? In terms of who's going to defend who. But another thing, Rick Carlisle, again, probably one of the best coaches in the league for sure. But it kind of blows my mind that we did not have Obi Toppin out there instead of Miles Turner. Wait, NBA.com shows advanced stats, right? And so before the episode started, I was looking at it. So in Game 4 of advanced stats, or Game 4 of the playoffs for the advanced stats, this shit says that Miles Turner had a negative 17.7 net rating. That's just a Ben Shepherd has 41.7. Oh my, negative 41.7. Holy fuck. Makes sense. They took him, he didn't play too many minutes. But it's interesting because he's not a bad defender for Shai too. Definitely one of the worst ones out of the three that they throw at him, which is like Nemhard, like in terms of the ranking is a Nemhard, Neesmith, Shepherd. Right? Shepherd's like better as a help defender, I think so. Like when he's not just defending the point of attack. But yeah, and yeah, so it's just like Miles Turner did not have a great game on both sides. And Miles Turner, like last game for example too, like he didn't really have a great game either until the last few minutes where he blocked the shit out of shot, blocked him again, and then made a three. Or maybe it was made a three beforehand, but whatever. Like regardless, like that was just fucking crazy from him. That's playoff shit. Like that's what you gotta do if you're that type of player. But again, fucking insane playoffs so far. I wanted to say more. I think fucking Lou Dort. I don't know how dude, that motherfucker should have fouled out way before the fourth quarter, but he never. I don't understand. Like that dude might be worse than Draymond Green. I lied, probably not. Draymond Green is he's a fucking demon, right? But Lou Dort fucking sucks, man. Like that dude is out there to kill people. He's out there to kill your player no matter what. Again, he fucking need the shit out of Halliburton on like on a Benedict Mathurin free throw. Um, talking about Benedict Mathurin. Fuck. He made a stupid fucking foul on Shai too, where the dude like just dived directly at Shai's legs. Fucking insane, by the way. Like what the fuck? And again, they're in the bonus. It's like late in the game where like free throws matter, and they just gave him 2 free points. You know, it was really dumb play. And then he also missed 3 free throws. Which if he had made, so if he made the first 2 free throws, I don't think it would have tied the game. It would have made like a one possession. Would have made a one possession game. If he made the first because he missed two free throws, and he missed both of those 2 free throws, that would have like made it a one possession game, I think. And then he gets fouled again, and he misses it. He misses the first one and makes the second one, I think. So like 1 for 4, and like he had like one of the worst 30 seconds imaginable that you can have in a playoff situation like that, and it was just bad. It was really fucking bad. You know, you miss free throws on your end, and then you give them the lead by continuing to foul one of their best free throw shooters. So it was really fucking bad on him. Let me see if I can get to the stats for the game. Yeah, Shai again, 35 points. Caruso, 20 points with 5 steals. For the Pacers, 17 from Obi Toppin. Again, Obi Toppin, that game. And it was so crazy that they lost that game because it really looked like they were going to win that game. And up until that fourth quarter, again, I don't want to make it about officiating, but it's very obvious that as soon as they went into that bonus, those 6-7 minutes left, that it was going to turn into a game like that, Like, it was obvious that it was going to turn into, like, this bullshit, But Obi Toppin had this situation in the game where he was, like, so he did not take a 3 when he should have taken a 3. That would have extended the lead on OKC. And I think in either the third or fourth quarter, like early on in the quarter, like either mid to late third quarter, early fourth quarter, right, something like that. And so he misses it, or he doesn't take it, passes it along, but it's like you need to take that 3 because you're open as fuck. And again, against OKC defense, it's like you got to take the first shot that you can take against them. You got to take against them if you can, right? So he didn't take it. But then the next 2 possessions after, bang from 3. Another one, bang from 3. And that's what you want from him. He played great. He had 17 points from 28 minutes, 7 of 12, 2 of 5 for 3. He also missed some free throws. I mean, the free throws in general were just not the greatest. They missed 8 free throws. Damn, they missed 8 free throws, and they lost by 7? Yeah, they lost by 7 and missed 8 free throws, dog. Wow. I didn't realize that. Fuck, that is terrible. But yeah, Obi Toppin, again, like for him to take those 2 threes after, like that's mental fortitude. That's confidence. And that's what you want to see from your players, especially your role players too. But yeah, that was a crazy game. Crazy game. OKC should not have won that game. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that they won that game was fucking insane. I think you look at that game, and I don't know if you look at that game and kind of walk out of it and think that OKC kind of like, because I kind of see it as kind of like the first game. But with the first game, it was like, refs weren't, again, I think games 1 to 3 officiating was not too bad. I think the first game, OKC had Pacers on their neck. Pacers tired them out and were able to come back that fourth quarter and make the huge run and then Tyrese game winner. Game 2, OKC did what they did. Fuck them. Game 3, Pacers did what they did. Fuck them. But now game 4, Pacers again were amazing until the last few minutes. And I think they got tired too. I think some of those, I don't know if they got tired or if they were just frustrated with the officiating too as well. I don't know. I don't think I should have controlled them that much, to be honest. You still got to play hard regardless. But like I think they looked a little bit tired there too. And OKC, like the coin flipped in OKC's possession and they won the game. Again, Shai, that step back 3, phenomenal. He had another mid range on somebody else that was fucking crazy. Now the push off on Neesmith, Scott Foster. It's funny as fuck because I woke up the next morning and I watched the video again. This dude Scott Foster was right in front of Shai when he got the push off, like right in front of Shai, and he's like and he has the fucking whistle in his esophagus, and he has the blankest face watching that shit. So it's just fucking hilarious seeing him not call that when he's like literally watching it, like literally like fucking 2 inches away from Shai doing it. Was it like a crazy push off? I think again, officiating was so bad in that game. It was like you gotta be consistent, You gotta be consistent about it on both sides. You can't give I feel like you can't if you're not gonna give if you're gonna call the call with Neesmith where he has like his shoulder and then Shai grifts for the foul, then you gotta call the push off too. If you don't call the push off, it kind of comes off at one sided. But again, at the end of the day, Pacers needed to make their shots. They did not make their shots. They lost because they did not make their shots. It obviously again did not help that the rest were not particularly on their side, whatever, but it's fine, right? They play again tomorrow. Hopefully I can get this video in before tomorrow. But with last video it was like with the last video game 3 already happened, I think, when last video was uploaded. Maybe game 4 too. So I really want to have this video up before then. But yeah, that's final so far. Move on to other news. Kind of fucking funny, actually. As soon as I finished last video, like as soon as I stopped recording, when I was talking about the Thibs firing, I look at my phone, like again, literally right after I'm done recording. I look at my phone. I get the Shams bomb, that Shams bomb, that they're gonna interview Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins. I don't think Taylor Jenkins. We had bad. Kind of like, it wasn't the best season for the Grizzlies. Were they scapegoating Taylor Jenkins by firing him? I don't want to say it was only his fault. I think a lot of it was just like, the new assistants that we brought in. Taylor Jenkins he's a pretty good coach, but like he does not really make adjustments on the fly. He can't really make adjustments anyways. He doesn't really adjust a lot. Sorry. And then rotations too as well was like kind of like, like what the fuck are we doing kind of thing. But I think a lot of it, like if they get Taylor Jenkins, like those minutes, unless it's like, like he just keeps the Thibs situation alive kind of thing, where it's like we're gonna play Jalen Brunson 40 fucking minutes, it doesn't matter. Like, culture at this point, you gotta play your starters crazy minutes. If Jenkins does get hired, I think we'll see like a lot of separation or a lot of balance between minutes between the bench and the starters, or at least like more than Thibs for sure, obviously, right? But I think it's gonna be a little bit like half, maybe 60-40 between starters and bench. I'm not too keen on. I'm not too not keen, but knowledgeable on Mike Breen, or is it Mike Breen? No, the Sacramento coach. I can't believe I fucking forgot his name, but I think he might be a great coach. But I think they're interviewing him. They're interviewing both of them tomorrow, is what the tweet said. Tomorrow, as in Monday. So yeah, and we might get a new coach for the Knicks tomorrow or Tuesday. But the biggest news as a Grizzlies fan, man, I woke up this morning, tired as fuck. Got some yogurt and a protein shake after brushing my teeth. Started doing a little bit of cow homework. I look at my phone and I get the fucking Shams bomb. The Shams bomb. I'm looking at it. I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody got traded. Oh, like, there's got to be KD. Because, again, that's what everybody thinks is going to happen. Because we're waiting for the KD trade for... We've been waiting on that KD trade for like a month now, right? So I'm thinking KD. I look at it. That shit says Memphis Grizzlies. And then a picture pops up. That shit shows Desmond Bane. I'm like, what the fuck? We actually traded him? So at first I didn't see all of it. All I saw was Desmond Bane and KCP. But then I read it. We got KCP and then Cole Anthony. Or Anthony Cole. Cole Anthony, I think. Sorry, fuck. So at first I thought Cole Anthony was Anthony Black. So I was like, oh shit, that's fucking great, because Anthony Black was insane as a defender. Like, and that would solve our wing defender problem, to be fucking honest. Like, that's a great addition. Like, that trade right there is like, it's not the best because we kind of lose, again, like a perennial tertiary, star in our big three, right? But it's like, no, it's Cole Anthony. But then I keep on reading. 4 first-round picks. Holy fucking shit. At first, I'm like, yo, we fleeced the fuck out of them. But that's after, the emotional kind of heartbreak that the big three is now separated. Fucking sucks. It really does suck. Because I feel like, in terms of big threes, like manufactured big threes where it's like trade. Now you're all on the same team. Like, I don't think those ever worked. The only one that I really felt like it worked was the Nets one. But then, even then, that shit fucking happened. The basketball guys were like, no, we gotta do something about it. And then all the bullshit went down with the Nets and their GM and shit like that. And then, but with our big three was like, we've been a big three since Bane was in his rookie year. Like, this is a homegrown big three. Like 4 or 5 years of playing together. It was just, unfortunately, each one at their, like, I don't want to say peak, because none of them are so at their peak yet, or like peak age in terms of like whatever, like 26, I think 26, 28 is usually, I think, peak, or maybe 25, 28, maybe, I don't know. So it kind of sucks because like fuck, man, like we never really seen them play all together healthy as well. At their, like, in their peak, like their primes, their peaks, whatever. And it sucks because it's like, we had so much promise back in 21 to 22, and 22 to 23, where it was like, what worked so well, and I believe, like, the reason why we have one of the better backcourts in the league during that season was because Ja and Bane kind of covered they covered their asses, Bane could not play make or handle the ball too well. Ja Morant, great handler, great playmaker, right? Desmond Bane, fucking phenomenal shooter. It's crazy as an off-ball player because he's so goddamn great at shooting and has fucking range extender. The motherfucker can shoot from anywhere. Ja Morant, not the greatest shooter at all, really. Like, he might go on some tricky shots or hit some big shots, but it's like he's really not gonna. He's not the shooter that what that Bane is, right? So they kind of cover each other's asses, and I think that's why they work so well at first, and then even in 22, 23. But then I think nearing the end of 23, I think Bane kind of developed into a secondary ball handler because Ja was out, or maybe it's not because Ja was out. Maybe that was just in his development path the entire time for Desmond Bane. Sure, maybe, but I think him becoming that, as much as it's great to have like both of your guards be great playmakers, I think it became the fact that it was like you had to choose between one of them because Ja can't shoot, and Desmond Bane, as much as he is a decent playmaker. Like he can turn the ball over like crazy, right? So and we seen it again like in this playoffs. Like he has not been the greatest. Honestly, the only playoff series where he really was like really great for us was the Warriors series, or not Warriors Timberwolves series, which was again 2 years ago. And again, that was when the backcourt was great because again they covered each other's asses. Like John Morant was dishing assist after assist to Desmond Bane, and Desmond Bane was just knocking the bitches out the park, right? And that's what you want from that backcourt because again they cover each other's asses. And so it sucks to see Desmond Bane go. Like honestly, I felt really sad. I felt heartbroken seeing John and Jaren posting about it, going through the fucking the clips and shit of them together. Um, I felt fucking sad as fuck, you know. Uh, yeah, it was just like, and we knew. I think we knew it was gonna happen because in terms of team construction, like now, like I think it's more than ever. It's like it's obvious, not in terms of big threes, but more so like having three guys that you have to pay a whole fuck ton of money for, and then you want to sign role players to send to around them that are good, but it's like you got to pay them a decent amount. Like if you want good ones, you got to pay well, right? But you're too busy on a big three where it's like it's not a perfect big three, like even like, and I don't want to outright compare the two because they're obviously like kind of different players in their own regards for sure. But with like I look at the OKC big three with our big three, and it's like, you know, with our big three is like we were kind of supposed to be that kind of big three where it's like your star point guard, your star shooting guard, or even though he's like a wing, and then you have your big man who's a defensive player of the year candidate or a caliber player, right? Except again, Shai's a demon with the mid range. Ja is more of a playmaker who can finish really well at the rim and has a floater. And I'm talking about like specifically like 21, 22, 23 kind of years, right? Then you have J-Dub now who's like a phenomenal defender, can't really shoot all the time, but he also has that mid range bag, not to the same degree as Shai, but more so kind of can get to that mid range and also use like his great kind of second lunge on his Euro step to get to the rim really well. He's a tough shot maker. And then Desmond Bane again on the other hand, incredible shooter that gives so much spacing for Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. So that and Jaren Jackson Jr. again, who's a great 3-point shooter too, just like Shet, who's also can shoot the shit out the ball, but is lanky and agile enough to score in the paint as well, right? So I think with the our big three was like we kind of thought that they were gonna be the big three that we see with OKC now. Again, we don't know if OKC big three is still gonna be as incredible as they are um coming into the next season. They probably still will be for sure, and we don't even know if they're gonna be as great. Like I feel like again they're fucking amazing big three, but I feel like if they make it to the end, they win that ring that solidifies their kind of like their standing as a big three, and I think kind of shows like how great a big three really can be, and what you kind of want your big three to look like, especially not only your big three but the team in general, right? But all that to say, crazy that we traded Bane. Um, I think it shows that we definitely are putting all of our chips in for Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't understand how people outside of the fan base or just outside of knowing what small market teams look like. I don't understand how they're looking at this and thinking like, oh, they're in complete rebuild mode. They're in tanking mode. They're gonna trade Ja. They're gonna trade Jaren Jackson Jr. next. I don't understand it. Kevin O'Connor had a tweet about like, oh, Ja. Like if I'm Memphis, I'd consider trading Ja and Jaren, go into full rebuild mode. Like what the fuck are you talking about? Like I have no idea what you're talking about. And then he went on to say Ja was overrated. Not even like he made decent points about why like there's like like why he's not the best or like and like in terms of like what he used to be, whatever. Like His 3 point is very subpar. I mean, it's his 3 point has been the shittiest, like, in his entire career. Like, shooting 30% from three, right? Fucking horrible from three, for sure, facts. But then he mentioned like unreliable health. Again, if you watch John Morant or the Grizzlies this season, you would know. Again, apart from like one, maybe two, I would say one. But in terms of like apart from one injury, all of the injuries this fucking year has been freak accidents. And I'm telling you, they've been freak accidents. They've been fucking horrible shit. And it's just unfortunate that John got into it because again, John Morant this season has tried his hardest to not be injured and stay on the court for his team. He really has. And I think, and if you watch the game, that's kind of what he did a lot in his. If you watch some of the earlier games, he used that kind of like. He used who he is as a player and what he usually does, like that aggressiveness to always jump, rise to the rim, like at any situation. He used that in an advantage to make more shot creation for his teammates, and up his playmaking abilities. And his playmaking abilities again developed has been so great this year too, and it's something that has been developing, continuing to develop every season, and this year has looked crazy, right? But again, it's like, and he also brought up like, his lowest, like he didn't even say rim field goal percentage. I think he just said like rim, something about his rim, like going to the rim. But it's like, then you got again, if you watch the Grizzlies, you understand that we had Taylor Jenkins and Noah LaRoche implement this new offensive scheme that took him out of the fucking, that made him an off-ball player. He's not an off-ball player because he can't fucking shoot. And again, you can kind of say, yes, he had to learn how to shoot. Like, that's your fault. Sure, I get that, 100%. But John Morant is a top 5 guard playmaking talent in the fucking league. Why are you taking the ball out of his fucking hand? Hence, the reason when we fired Taylor Jenkins and Noah LaRoche, and we hired Ishalo, and we put in more pick and rolls, he was averaging damn near 30 a game. He averaged. So I have the screenshot actually on my phone. Again, because it pissed me the fuck off. Because I hate when people act like he's overrated, like, or talk shit on him. Like, I've witnessed this man single-handedly brought series back and perform insane against other teams. I don't understand it. Again, I have bias towards it because he's my favorite player in the league and one of my favorite players of all time, right? I'm going to support him at all time because that's one of my favorite players of all time, right? Again, I'm just going to. But since February 3rd, he was averaging 26.8 points, 27 points, 7 assists and 4 rebounds. That's in 22 games since February 3rd. And that's way more than his averages for the season. Let me see if I can find it real quick. His averages for the season. It's like way less. Way less. He's averaged 23 points this season, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. So it's like his points jump up a whole lot. He still keeps a 7 assists. But it's like a 27-7 is way more respectable than a fucking 23-7. Again, and he said like he had him in the top 40 to 50 players in the NBA. There's no fucking way that you are saying John Morant is a top 40 to 50 player in the NBA. He's averaging Darius Garland numbers, except the 3-point shooting of Darius Garland. And I'm 100% sure that you probably have Darius Garland above John Morant. And if we're being 100% fucking for real, a healthy John Morant is way better than Darius Garland. A healthy John Morant, in terms of point guards, damn near top 6, I would say top 5 even. And a healthy John Morant in the league ranking is like top 25. So I think it just blows my mind. Like, again, people just overrating, people acting like John Morant is not the player that he is. Like, again, last season, the motherfucker played 9 fucking games after having a kind of exaggerated suspension. And then, again, he led the team to like a 6-3, playing with fucking Bismack Biyombo as a 5, and he made that motherfucker look decent. No other fucking player is making Bismack Biyombo look decent as a starting fucking center. Are you fucking shitting me? Don't fucking talk to me about he's not great or he's overrated. Fuck no. And then what else? Fucking. And again, he played 9 games, 6-3, and then again the Grizzlies were fucking dog shit regardless because Desmond Bane was injured, or was ended up getting injured again. Brandon Clark was still injured. Um, Half of the fucking team was still injured regardless. So I think is a reason why he decided to take the surgery and then be out for the season because again the Grizzlies fucking sucked, right? Regardless, which was smart of him to take it that season. I understand it fully, but then again, launch into next season where we literally take him and make him an off ball player when he's not that fucking player, and no shit, his numbers are lower. The motherfucker is not playing in a team that centers around him. And I don't understand why in God's fucking name are we even doing that? Because no other player, like Zion Williamson, for example, for the Pelicans, but every time he gets injured and then comes back, do they take the fucking ball out of his hands? No, they fucking don't. They give him the fucking rock and they let him go to work. So I don't understand why they decided to do that with Ja Morant. Because again, the numbers might say, oh, he played, does the team play better without him? Or the team was still whatever without him, whatever. Again, that shit was against trash ass fucking teams. Any time that we played a good team, there was only one fucking player who actually would fucking impact winning, and that was Ja Morant. And I'm not saying the Grizzlies are fucking ass, right? But it's very apparent that there's a correlation that when we play good teams, if there's only one player doing good, I think it fucking shows how impactful that player is, right? But anyways, um, enough about ranting about Ja Morant. Um, so again, we got KCP, Cole Anthony, 4 first round picks. First, I want to talk about the Magic. The Magic got an amazing fucking player. I hope that they do not make him sit in the corner and be a 3-and-D type of guy. That is not who he is anymore. And I hope that they actually allow him to handle the ball, handle the rock. But yeah, they got an amazing player. They fixed their shooting. I'm very surprised they went for Desmond Bane. I honestly am curious if we talked to them or they came to us first, because in terms of like, because I know they needed shooting and they needed a ball handler as their guard, and so I was thinking either like a Jordan Poole, or I think my number one for them was Anthony Simmons from the Trailblazers. I thought he was like damn near a perfect fit for them. They ended up getting even a better one that completely blindsided me. I really did not expect them to get Desmond Bane of all players. But yeah, again, they got themselves a great starting five now of Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Paolo, um, Franz, and then Wendell Carter Jr. at the five, and then they have Goga as a backup five, which is fucking incredible too. But yeah, I think that starting five is gonna be fucking crazy. On paper, they look good. We're gonna have to see how they look in terms of how they execute it, because again, Desmond Bane has become that player where, not that he's not as effective anymore off the ball, but he's much more effective with the ball in his hands. And again, that's a big three now. Like, yeah, like he might not be an all-star, but he is a perennial all-star. So we're gonna see how that works. I'd be surprised if we keep both players. I'm 100% sure we're trading at least one of them. I would like to keep KCP because I think, again, having a player who's a vet, a player who has won on a team like that, again, unfortunately kind of went young coming into the season when that was not supposed to be the plan. Having him on a team would be great just for like chemistry. I don't know if he even gonna get minutes. He might get some minutes, he might average like 10, 12 minutes, whatever. Because he didn't really shoot the best from three this year. I think I saw some tweets. It was like after January 1st, I think, is the date that people said like he looked a little bit better. And Cole Anthony also looked better too. I think we're gonna keep one of them, trade the other, for again like because we need wing depth now, like for sure. I mean, we've always needed wing depth. So I'm just excited to see what we will do with the assets that we have now because we have a lot more to work with. Again, we split up Desmond Baines. He was like our highest paid player, which is fucking crazy to me. But yeah, we're gonna see how that what happens that with that. Um, my picks for who I wanted for our team, especially now with Edie being injured. So in terms of wings, it was Herb Jones. People were talking about Trey Murphy. I think Trey Murphy would be great, but I think a lot of team building also have you have to factor in like again like roles. Like what are they gonna do for us? Are they gonna be able to fit into what we have already? Because again, we have John, we have Jaren. They're two great offensive players, and John's a great playmaker. What are we gonna? Are we gonna add in somebody who's gonna take the ball out of John's hand? Okay, it has to be a great fucking player if we do so, right? And still be a player who's not gonna be selfish with the ball, right? Unless they're fucking like KD, right? But I think Herb Jones would be better than Trey Murphy, in my opinion, because again, he can still shoot decently well. He had a season where he almost shot 40%. I know he didn't shoot the best last season, but again, a lot of it was because he was injured, right? But again, we have a defensive wing that we've needed, a point of attack defender who's tall as shit, can be extremely disruptive, and we're gonna have him paired up with Jaren Jackson Jr. Like that's going to be an insane defensive front court. And then Edie at the anchor or at the five. Like yes, he's kind of slow. You might have to if if you're gonna switch with him, whatever. But I think he's fucking. Not only is he slow, but he's a fucking monster. Like a 7'8" wingspan. Like depending on who's on him, he's gonna be able to get the or at least be a hindrance to the guy below him because he's fucking obviously tall as shit, right? But yeah, Herb Jones was my guy. Trey. If we can get Trey Murphy, because I feel like with Trey Murphy, not only we got to pay more, I just don't know. I feel like Herb is a better fit, but I know Trey Murphy is a fucking. That guy does not care about letting the ball go off his fingertips from three, which is again also great. So I don't mind getting him. I just feel like we might pay a little bit less for Herb, um, and I think he'd be a better fit. And then in terms of our five, my um, pick was Dayron Sharp. I think he'd be great as a screener and kind of like rim runner for Ja. I think he'd be amazing. He's a guy who hustles for rebounds. He's a guy who's athletic, can catch lobs, which is again somebody that we need with Ja because John Morant, if he gets that like again, our guy usually was Brandon Clark, and that's what made it like in the earlier years again when like Brandon Clark was still young, and he was very athletic and stuff too, and he still is right, but before injuries and shit like that, like he was our guy, and he still was our guy this season too, but not having him in the second half of the season because he got injured also showed like why we so do need like a guy who can a lob threat with Ja, because it becomes a whole different game having a lob threat on the court where John Morant can take advantage of that. So I think Dayron Sharp would be a great. So those two players for me were my go-tos. I think one thing though that was how many assets we got. I think it kind of shows that we are probably going to go for Cam Johnson now, which I am not going against him. I'm not against that. He's a smart basketball player. He can shoot. He can score. He's an okay defender. I would like Herb more, but I'm not mad at getting Cam if you get Cam. But again, I don't know what's gonna happen. All I know is fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy, boy. Um, I'm I'm extremely surprised that we were the first team that traded or did like a trade. I would have swore it was gonna be KD. First, I have no idea what they're saying with KD now. Like I know, like reports are like it's either the Timbs or the Spurs or the Rockets and the Spurs, and then now it's like also fuck. There's another team. Now it's the Heat too. Like what the fuck? I think KD to the I think KD to the East would be kind of fire actually, you know, kind of balances both conferences. Not like a whole fuck ton, but I would like to see more balance between both conferences. I think it'd be cool to get some more star power out of the West and into the East. It would be great. But you might see him traded by tomorrow. Who knows? All I know is draft night probably gonna have a whole ton of trades that day. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. Um, I think that's it for today. Yeah. You have anything else to say? Nah. I think that's it. Yep. So yeah, hopefully we can get this episode out before tomorrow. I would love to. Right, not before tomorrow, but at least before the game drops or the game starts tomorrow. I think that would be amazing. If not, what I'll probably do is like cut and then like have a like record a little like 10-minute session after the game, kind of just explaining everything, and then like add it onto this one. But we will see. We will see. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like the video, like the pod, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.